Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So today we're taking a look at a pretty unique case and accessory for the iPhone 17 Pro Max and iPhone 17 as well as other models as well. So they have actually had this for the 16 series as well, but the one I have is for the 17 Pro Max. This is quite unique in the sense that you get quite a lot in this particular bit of kit, and it is aimed and designed for photographers or videographers who wish to make use of their phone in order to go about creating content. So as you can see, it is a sort of bundle, so you are getting quite a lot of bits with it. So we'll get the unboxing done. So first up, you have the actual case itself. Now, I didn't actually realize, but this case is actually made from, I believe it's graphene. So on the inside you have a graphene coating, and then you also have venting. The case is MagSafe compatible. As you can see there, you do have some venting there, as well as this surface here that is designed to dissipate the heat when you're making video. So this is designed to kind of maximize how long you can make video for. So one thing that I'm not a great fan of is the power button, of how sensitive it is. Every time you put it on, it triggers Siri, and yeah, it's just so sensitive with the fit of this particular case. The other buttons all seem fine, they don't accidentally click or anything, but it's just the power button, and obviously that's the one that's going to get annoying. It's good for tactile feedback, but yeah, it's not great for just general usage in terms of putting it on. Now that aside, you do have a cutout for camera control. Obviously this particular case kind of bypasses that in terms of the full functionality of it. But yeah, that's the actual case itself. So you are getting more coverage, and whilst I initially didn't like this, I do actually wish now that more manufacturers would actually do this and cover up some of the camera plateau, because it is leaving quite a lot of area exposed. The sides of this definitely feel like a plastic, and considering how flexible it is, I'm pretty sure it is plastic. So how well this sort of graphene coating or supposed graphene coating works is debatable. So as you can see there, that area is supposed to dissipate heat better whilst maintaining MagSafe, and you'd also have some ventilation there as well. None of this is going to work as well as having the phone bare, but in theory it's supposed to be better than just having a closed off case. Now in terms of the accessories pack, you are getting quite a bit. So you are getting a screen protector included with it. Yeah, so this one does also have the little mesh cover for the actual speaker as well. It does come with a guide for installation. You get a cleaning kit presumably, as well as a cloth, and then you get a user manual for the light as well as the actual main grip itself. Other things you get in the actual box, so you get this light which also extends and is also MagSafe, and also has a mirror on the inside as well. So you have quite a bit of functionality here. So firstly, I'll just fold it back up. So it basically attaches to the back of your phone as such. I'll try and do this off screen. So you hold to turn it on, and you have a few modes. So you have warm white, you have medium, and then you have cool white, and then you also have the brightness slider just there as well. You can rotate this around so you can make use of this to see yourself when you're actually recording using the rear cameras, and you can then obviously rotate the light in order to light yourself up. This also extends out if you do want a different angle for the actual light itself, and then stows away as such. You do also get a UV filter for the actual camera bump itself. Now in some instances I've seen that you're meant to slide this on, but for me this just kind of magnetizes on. So as soon as you line it up, it kind of just clicks on. Now I believe they are also doing some other filters, some UV filters, some ND filters for the case as well. All I've got with the actual case is just a UV filter, and obviously it gives you a little bit of extra protection for the actual phone itself. You also get a little accessory pack. So in here you are getting a pretty chunky lanyard, and that's a pretty sturdy clasp in order to clasp on as well. And then this is where you would actually feed it through on the actual case in order to loop it on. You're also getting a USB-C to USB-C cable in there as well. And then obviously the star of the show is the actual main grip itself. So this is meant to be similar to an actual camera, similar to the Sony one that I'm recording on. So you do have your record button, you have a function button there, another one there, and then you also have a scroll button on the front as well. So quite a lot of extra functionality, and basically the ergonomical grip is more designed for people that are used to using cameras. So you can see, you just clip it on, and then you've got a better grip in terms of the phone. You can also rotate this around to have a portrait mode. Now on the back of here, it does give you some instructions in terms of how to actually set this up. So what you would do is, in order to use the zoom function, so that just there, when I saw this advertised, I assumed that they'd managed to somehow design this to filter over the actual button, and actually whatever you do here kind of replicates onto the actual button itself. Unfortunately, they haven't actually done that. They're just making use of the settings. So what you do is you enable zoom on the phone itself, and then every time you use this, it's basically mimicking using zoom on the phone, so through accessibility. So you can see there, what you would do is go to settings, accessibility, zoom, and then you turn on zoom, and then to get back out of it, you basically just tap with 3 fingers, and that takes you out of the zoomed in screen. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory in terms of functions. This one, I believe, does switch through the different modes on the camera, on the stock app anyway. Depending on what app you're actually using, obviously you may well get different functionality. I believe they do also have an additional app that you can use, but all of this is designed to work with whatever app that you wish to actually use it with. And one final thing is, as you can see just there, you do have a USB-C input as well as some LED lights, and that is because this is also a power bank as well. So when you're using your phone, rather than your phone dying out, you're actually charging it via MagSafe at the same time. So a lot of extra functionality that you're actually adding. So it does look like it has a 3200 milliamp hour capacity on the actual unit itself, and it says it charges input 5 volt to amp, so it'll charge at 10 watts, and it outputs at 10 watts as well. Wireless charging capacity is only 7.5 watts, and you can see all of that information just there. You do have your lanyard section just there. You do also have a 1/4 inch thread on the bottom as well, and then you have your USB-C input for charging as well as the function button just there as well. Okay, so fully loaded up, this is essentially what you could have. So you've got the mirror, you've got the light, you've got the actual handle. All of this is going through the actual case itself. You have a filter on the actual lens itself protecting that, and then you have the actual functionality just there as well. Okay, so in order to power the unit on, you hold the capture or the sort of orange capture button just there for 2 seconds. It will then show up in your settings. So once you've clicked onto that, you hit pair, and that is now connected. And then the other thing is the zoom. So if we come down to accessibility, come to zoom, and we enable zoom, it will zoom in and make everything massive. Double tap with 3 fingers, that's now disabled. And now, see what I mean about the oversensitive power button. But yeah, so now, so I can now zoom in using the button just there. I can change modes using this scroll button on the front, so that switches through the various different modes. If I press function, what does that do? So in this particular app, function doesn't do anything. If we go to video, function doesn't do anything. And this button may well be a shutter button for photos. No, it doesn't appear to be doing anything on that either. Okay, so this particular button on photo will flip the cameras, and this one on photo doesn't do anything. You do have your shutter button just there, and obviously the thing about this is it doesn't have to be attached in order for it to work because it is Bluetooth. So you can switch, go to video, you can zoom in, you can zoom out. Okay, so on video it doesn't seem to switch the actual cameras, but if you go to photo, it will actually switch between front facing and rear facing. So yeah, quite a lot of functionality just there. Okay, so having used it for a little while, my thoughts on this setup is I'm not sure about the actual claim of dissipating the heat. I have no way of actually testing that because for me the iPhone 17 in my usage hasn't overheated anyway. It's made to dissipate heat throughout its whole body, so whether this helps or not, I'm not sure. The case itself, I do not like the power button. The power button is way too sensitive. Every single time you put it on, it jams on and it triggers Siri, and it quite often locks the phone when you don't want it to. Literally the slightest touch on it will activate the actual power button function, whereas on these it's a lot stiffer, so there is actual travel, whereas on this one it's almost like it's so pressed up against the button that any little touch just triggers it. So that I do not like. Other than that, yeah, the case is a little plasticky, but it's fine. It does what it's meant to do. The thing about this system is it doesn't matter what case you use this with, it's MagSafe compatible, so basically you can use it with or without the case. this, you can use it without the phone. If you want to set the phone up somewhere, you can just use this as a remote, and that's extra functionality as well. This does give extra functionality, and to be fair to them, they've done a pretty decent job in terms of the extra functionality they've added. You've got zoom, you've got the ability to change cameras, you've got a MagSafe charging. So they have thought about quite a lot of things that people would need in the field when they're actually recording, and this does kind of cover quite a lot of that. It does both portrait as well as landscape recording. So yeah, that works really well. Funnily enough, this is the thing that actually impressed my daughter the most. So as soon as she saw the light with the mirror and extending out, she was like, yeah, I want that. So yeah, this is something that actually surprised me in terms of the extra functionality. Just being portable, stick it on, it's ready to go. One of the biggest problems with sort of mobile photography and videography is setting up lighting, and having this be able to just stick on there does actually help quite a bit. The lanyard I've not used because generally I don't tend to use lanyards, but one thing I will say about this is it is very, very high quality. So I have seen other creators who've received similar bundles say that they will actually continue using this for other purposes. Just the build of it is really, really sturdy, and it just feels more expensive than it probably actually is. Overall, it's a pretty nice bit of kit. Would I personally use this? No, because the way I make use of photography and videography with my phone, generally it's used as a second cam, so it's not my primary. And if I do use it as my primary, then generally I'm going to be using other accessories, which to be fair with this, you can still do so, because if you wanted to plug in an SSD and make use of log video, then yeah, you can still technically do so. It's just this would kind of get in the way. So yeah, that's the only sort of real issue that I would come across. But yeah, for me personally, it's not something that I would use day to day. Case, as I say, it doesn't matter what case you have. You don't even have to have a case on your phone, and you can still make use of that. So that's one thing that I do like that they've done, where they've integrated it in such a way where you're not forced in order to use in their products in order to actually make use of all the functionality of the actual product itself. As always, I will have links for everything in the description below. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them or forward them on to the actual manufacturers themselves. If you haven't already done so, please do subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos, and I'd really appreciate if you can also give this video a thumbs up as well. And until the next one, thanks very much for watching.